Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. US Open 2025. Gauff with Swiatek, Alcaraz lands Djokovic. It's the last chance for the world's very best to taste Grand Slam glory in 2025. It's the US Open. The men's and women's singles draw were conducted over in New York on Thursday, and here are the key takeaways. Sabalenka and Gauff kept apart. Reigning U.S. Open champion and world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka spearheads the top half of the women's draw, flipping to the bottom half of the draw, and it's congested with major champions, as recent Wimbledon winner Iga Swiatek has been drawn in there with Roland Garros champion Coco Gauff and Australian Open's ruler Madison Keys. In Sabalenka's case, the top seed ignites her title defense across the net from world number 109 Rebecca Mazarova. 2021 runner-up Leylah Fernandez presents a possible third-round challenge. Then it gets particularly tricky. Back to Dubai, and cannonball strokes of Clara Tauson toppled Sabalenka, and the duo might reunite in the last 16 stateside. Into the home straight, the world number 1 has been pitched against number 7 seed Jasmine Paolini in the quarterfinals, before a U.S. Open 2024 final rematch has been penciled in against Jessica Pegula one step earlier this year. There's a particularly strong segment at the tail end of the top half, with number 5 seed Mira Andreeva, RG17 champion Yelena Ostapenko, teenage sensation and recent Montreal winner Victoria Mboko and Emma Navarro all in close quarters. Swiatek, fresh off a title triumph at the WTA 1000 in Cincinnati, has Colombian youngster Emiliana Arango as an opening hurdle, with a box office home straight. In a repeat of the emphatic 6-0 Wimbledon final, the Pole is projected to take on number 8 seed Amanda Anisimova in the Elite Eight, down to the sizzling semifinals, and Gauff would be the opponent on paper. However, Gauff, taking on the experienced Australian Ajla Tomljanovic first, who defied Serena Williams in the all-time great's last-ever match at US Open 2022, will need to be at her very best, especially with compatriot Keys, former champion Naomi Osaka, and Karolina Muchova all in her quarter. The RG25 champion has a towering task, with 6 feet 11 inches Riley Opelka's monstrous serve a devastating weapon on hard courts. Could the American hammer pass the number 2 seed for a seismic shock? Alcaraz is slotted in to take on 2021 winner Daniil Medvedev, American top 10 duo Ben Shelton and Taylor Fritz, all before a final blockbuster with Sinner. 38-year-old Djokovic, the King of Queens in 2011, 2015, 2018, and 2023, is an intriguing prospect, with no lead-up matches to test his current hard-court credentials. The Serbian, seeking the record 25th Grand Slam title, has home teenage prodigy Lerner Tien as a first-round clash. American hero Francis Tiafoe, Miami Masters winner Jakub Mensik, and number 11 seed Holger Rune, recently working with the one and only Andre Agassi, are in range of Djokovic's route to the semis, then final, over the net from Alcaraz, and then Sinner. The late summer haze over Flushing Meadows carries more than heat. It carries history, ambition, and the echoes of champions past. But in 2025, the U.S. Open doesn't just look back. It roars toward a future led by firebrands and dynamos, familiar and new. All eyes are on the women's draw as Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek, 2 titans under 25, brace for a showdown that fans and analysts alike are calling the rivalry of the decade. On the men's side, an electric first-week twist. Carlos Alcaraz has drawn none other than Novak Djokovic, setting the stage for a first-round blockbuster with the pulse of a final. Gauff, Queen of Arthur Ashe. Coco Gauff returns to New York not just as the defending champion, but as the embodiment of a new era in American tennis. At 21, she speaks with the grace of a veteran and plays with the thunder of youth. Last year, she delivered on the promise first glimpsed when she stunned Venus Williams at Wimbledon in 2019. In 2024, her blistering backhand and court sense dismantled Aryna Sabalenka in the U.S. Open final. Now, with 3 Grand Slams to her name and a firm hold on the number 2 ranking, Gauff comes back to her home slam as the crowd favorite. But looming in her draw is a familiar shadow, Iga Swiatek. Swiatek, the iceberg ahead, Where Gauff is fire, IGA is ice, still deep and deadly. The Polish phenom, now a 5-time Grand Slam champion and former world number 1, remains the standard-bearer for consistency and mental discipline. While her reign atop the WTA was briefly interrupted by Gauff and Elena Rybakina, Swiatek's iron grip on the clay court season, winning her 4th straight French Open in June, proves she's not done dictating the tempo. The two met in the Cincinnati final just 2 weeks ago. Gauff struck first, but Swiatek's resilience turned the tide. In 3 sets, the Pole reminded everyone that her quiet dominance can still mute the roar of any stadium. Their projected semifinal clash is the matchup tennis craves. Gauff brings a nation, Swiatek brings an arsenal. Men's draw, a first-round shocker. In an unprecedented twist of fate, or perhaps the brutal logic of the draw gods, Carlos Alcaraz, seeded number 2, will face Novak Djokovic, seeded number 13, in the first round. Yes, the first round. Djokovic, now 38, saw his ranking dip after a truncated 2025 season marred by injury and strategic withdrawals. But if anyone doubts his ability to summon brilliance on command, they haven't been paying attention. He's still Novak, and Alcaraz knows it. Their 2023 Wimbledon final was hailed as a generational handover. Alcaraz's 5-set triumph signaled that the Spaniard wasn't just next, he was now. But Djokovic got his revenge later that year in Cincinnati, showcasing fitness and focus that defied age. The 2024 U.S. Open semi was another epic, Alcaraz surviving in 5 tiebreaks. Now they meet again, on day 1. I didn't expect this, no, Alcaraz admitted with a sly grin in the pre-tournament press conference. But if you want to win the U.S. Open, you have to beat Novak anyway. Might as well start early. Djokovic, unfazed as ever, brushed it off. I've played over 100 Grand Slam matches. This is just one more, he said, but his eyes betrayed something else, a flicker of recognition. Perhaps the final chapter begins here. The rise of the rest. Beyond the headline clashes, the 2025 U.S. Open carries the hum of transformation. Tennis is shifting, and swiftly. On the women's side, 17-year-old Luna Radic from Croatia is already being touted as the next big thing. A lefty with a lethal slice and a touch reminiscent of Martina Hingis, she's drawn a wild card and could meet Swiatek in round 3. Meanwhile, Naomi Osaka, 2 years into her comeback, is quietly building momentum. Her run to the Canadian Open semifinals signaled a possible return to Grand Slam contention. On the men's side, American Ben Shelton and Danish dynamo Holger Rune are both eyeing deep runs. But neither are thrilled about the Alcaraz-Djokovic draw. It effectively clears the top half for someone to break through. Beyond the court, tennis in 2025. What's different about the U.S. Open in 2025? Technology, for one. The tournament now features SmartScan AI line calling, a new system that doesn't just call balls in or out. It provides live 3D renderings of spin rate, net clearance, and velocity. Commentators now sound like engineers, and fans in Arthur Ashe can toggle between traditional viewing and pro player view, using augmented reality headsets. But while the tech evolves, the human drama remains. Coco Gauff still looks to her box for strength. Swiatek still listens to Chopin before matches. Alcaraz still grins like a kid who can't believe this is his life. Djokovic still stretches like rubber and argues with umpires with the flair of Shakespearean theater. Predictions, chaos, and classics. If form holds, the women's final will be Gauff versus Swiatek. The most electric rivalry in modern women's tennis. Power versus precision. American dream versus Eastern discipline. On the men's side, it's anyone's guess. If Djokovic upsets Alcaraz, the road opens wide for someone like Jannik Sinner or Felix Auger-Aliassime. If Alcaraz survives, he could gain the confidence to steamroll the field. But no matter who wins, it won't come easy. Not here. Not in New York. The legacy moment. For Novak Djokovic, this may be the last U.S. Open. He hasn't said it. He may never say it. But the signs are there. Longer stretches between matches, less travel, fewer media obligations. Retirement looms, not as a fear, but a fact. Yet, for all his titles, 24 Grand Slams, 7 year-end number ones, It's these final battles that might define his legacy. Not just what he won, but how he passed the torch. And for Alcaraz, Swiatek, and Gauff, the moment is now. No longer the next generation. They are the moment this sport has been waiting for. Open ends. As day one approaches, and the gates of the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center swing open, one truth stands. This is more than a tournament. It's a pivot. From past to future. From legends to leaders. From promise to fulfillment. Coco Gauff bouncing on her heels as the New York crowd chants her name. Iga Swiatek walking slowly, eyes forward, racket a sword. Carlos Alcaraz swinging freely, youth incarnate. Novak Djokovic stepping out again, not to prove himself, but to write the last stanza of a poem 20 years in the making. Welcome to the U.S. Open 2025.